Welcome to it. The privileged have the most access to social media in South Africa, and artificial intelligence is emerging as a game changer. Those are some of the findings of the 2023 South Africa Social Media Landscape Report conducted by Ornico and Worldwide Works. To discuss, we're joined by the founder and CEO of Worldwide Works. That's Arthur Goldstuck. Arthur, it's great to have you with us as always. Let's start with sort of the pedestrian findings, and we'll talk about AI and things, but what social media are we using as South Africans in 2023?
We've seen a big five emerge in the past year, and that is comprised of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and TikTok. But the big shock that we saw this year was the extent to which TikTok leapfrogged over Twitter and Instagram, and especially Instagram was a surprise. So TikTok became the second most used social media platform in South Africa in the past year. It's still way behind Facebook, but it's accelerating.
So I know old people like me who are looking at TikTok. So is it still sort of a young people's platform, or is that changing as well?
That's what's really changed dramatically. In fact, in the past, it was assumed that TikTok was consumed by the under 15s. And the irony of this survey is it was conducted for us by Ask Africa, which interviews 24,000 people for this research. So it's very reliable. And it tells us that, firstly, we have something like 30% of South Africans over the age of 15 that are using TikTok. But the big surprise is when you look at the age profile, as you suggest, it's really now become a case of older people waking up to TikTok. And the 15 to 24 age group naturally would have the highest penetration. So there it's as high as 44%. Then the next age group, up to 34 years old, it drops to down to 37%, still pretty high. But then the 35 to 44-year-olds who you think have never heard of TikTok, exactly a third of them over the age of 15 in this country are using TikTok, which was really a surprise to us. And then even in the 45 to 54 age group, it's something like 1 in 5 people accessing it, using it, dipping into it, whatever the case might be. And it really only drops off after age 65, where it drops down to around 5%. Still surprising that there is that penetration.
Wow. Arthur, what I like about this report is I think you also speak to the people who are trying to use social media to raise brand awareness or get messages out. And it's often said if those people aren't keeping up with the trends, then they could miss a great opportunity, such as TikTok. Are marketers keeping up?
Yes, in fact, marketers have shifted their strategy a little bit with regard to what they want out of social media, because I think they've found over the years that it's very hard to use it as a sales channel and for various other purposes. So when we asked the 100 top brands in South Africa in a separate part of this project, we conducted a survey where we asked a range of questions, including what are the benefits you are getting out of social media. And firstly, we asked them, are you getting a return on your investment? And around 60% said yes in general. But then we drilled down into specific benefits of social media. And the one big one was brand awareness. Now, last year, when we asked that question, 60% of companies precisely said brand awareness. This year, it shot up to 91%, so almost unanimous. So that's the big benefit. And as far as TikTok is concerned, that really is the go-to place for brand awareness.
All right, so at least people understand that. What are the links you found between social media and privilege in South Africa? And very quickly, how is AI changing things or is going to change things?
Well, that was probably the most important finding of the research, was the finding that privilege and social media go hand in hand. So Ask Africa developed a measure of people's, I suppose you could say, level of privilege. They call it socioeconomic levels, SELs. It's taken over from the old-fashioned lifestyle measures, the LSMs. So SELs go from 1, which is the highest, people earning the highest, the highest quality lifestyles, etc., all the way down to 10, which is people below the poverty line. And what we found with Facebook, for example, is that all the way from SEL 1 through to 8, there was a fairly stable level of access to Facebook. It ranged between 60 and 80%. Suddenly at SEL 9, it dropped down to 24%, which sounds high, but compared to all the ones above, it's a massive drop. And then in the lowest LSM, level 10, it drops down to 12%. So it even halves at that low level as you go down the lifestyle levels. So that already was, you could say, the canary in the coal mine. That was the gas escaping, warning us that this was an issue. So we looked at the other social networks and we discovered that where Facebook, you had fairly steady or similar penetration from lifestyles 1 down to 8. All the others, it drops steadily, and it's almost like a perfect curve down from level 1 down to level 10. So Facebook starts, for example, at 60. Instagram starts at 65% penetration at SEL 1, and it drops down to 4% at SEL 10. But the most dramatic of all is actually TikTok, because that starts at almost 70% for SEL 1, incredibly high for TikTok.
So quickly, Arthur, sorry to interject, just because of time, just quickly explain that. Is it because of data costs? And then I guess we have to be careful when we analyze social media trends to understand that huge swaths of the population, their voice is not always being heard.
You hit the nail on the head. It's the cost of data, but it's also the cost of the devices that are good enough to access social media. So they are kept out because they can't afford the data in the first place, but secondly, they can't afford the devices. They don't even have the access mechanism. So for TikTok, for example, LSM 10, only 3% access it. And that's a massive discrepancy versus it was actually 58% at SEL 1. And when you see that graph descending like that, you can see the direct impact of your socioeconomic level versus your access.
Fascinating findings. I wish we could chat more, but in the interest of time, let's leave it there. You can, however, go and find the 2023 South Africa Social Media Landscape Report. That was the founder and CEO of Worldwide Works, the report conducted by Ornico and Worldwide Works. Thank you, Arthur Goldstuck.